So I was reading the New York Times today, and there was just a really amazing article that I wanted to talk to you about. It really got me thinking. And it's called Using Video Games as Baits to Hook Readers. And the article's here. And the guy's talking about a book that was written to be like a video game, and then the author goes on, Motoko Rich, goes on to give examples of books that are based on video games, or video game / books tie-ins, like The 39th Clue. And it really got me thinking about, here, I'm going to just open up the book pages, about books and video games. And some people were saying that there's no connection, but my opinion is that there is a connection to video games and books. It might not be the strongest one ever, but there is a connection where one leads a person to another. For example, the 39 Clues story. I'm from an older generation, so for me it was called Outernet. For these people, it's by Rick Riordan and the guy whose name I can't pronounce, who wrote the Percy Jackson books, which are Greek mythology set in modern day. The idea of the 39 Clues and Outernet is that, like, as you're reading the book, there's like an online component game to it, and you can do both of them, and it like enriches the story. There's a Doctor Who game coming up, like the Dark Shadow Trilogy series, Legacy, Dark Shade. I don't know the name exactly, but the idea of it is that it's a 10-book series, and it's aimed for kids, short paperback books. And there's a web tie-in like game that goes on for like 8 months, and like the point of this is to get, or 9 months, is to get people who would lose interest in the TV show Doctor Who to be reading the books to get a continuing story of him with cliffhangers and everything in it, and then have an online component to play a game along with it. Granted, the game's probably just going to be like, clap if you believe in magic and fairies, like at Disney World, but the general idea is pretty much to keep people interested in the property and to keep them busy either reading with the story. Now, it's supposed to keep them interested in the TV series, but to be fair, Doctor Who's expanded a lot more. There's a lot of people reading and buying books, comics, games, toys, whatever. The other example I wanted to give is probably one of my favorites. It's the X-Wing series. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like in the mid-90s there was a video game series, or a few games called like X-Wing and TIE Fighter, and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. And basically, I think that one of my favorite Star Wars book series is the X-Wing series by Michael A. Stackpole, and they're really good. And to be fair, whenever I play the video game, I want to read the books, and whenever I read the books, it makes me want to play the video games, because in the end, though, I just want a good dogfight, but I want to read it, and then I want to play it, then I want to read it, then play it. It's a cycle, and it just keeps me interested. And of course, though, the interest in the game and the book all come from the comic book, which is also by Stackpole, and is one of the best Star Wars comics ever. To be fair, like, I became such a big fan that I got action figures of them. The only problem I have with this article, though, is that the ending, he doesn't seem to understand or know about comic books. He talks about someone who, the previous article that I want to read, which sounds really good, it's about the value of reading on the internet compared to reading in print. Personally, my opinion is that I learned more about fallacies from reading on Newsarama than I did from reading 1984. No offense, George Orwell. But my one problem with it is he's talking about a guy who was reading on like game cheat websites, 14-year-old kid, and this is what the author wrote. While looking for hints online, he read about Death Note, a novel based on a Japanese video game. Death Note is a graphic novel. Well, I know there was a novel, but it was a comic, a manga, that had a video game inspired by it, not the other way around. So basically, the reason why he's reading a book that a video game was based on. So pretty much the book inspired a video game, it inspired that, and then it's drawing it. The video game is bringing him back to the original source. It's not a supplement to the game. The game is a supplement to the book. So basically, I connect this all back to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because everything's connected to number 42. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy started as a radio play, then went on to be a novel, a comic, a TV show, a movie, a play, and just kept going on, and a video game. And the thing is, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, each version is slightly different than each other. And my belief is that by reading or playing or doing each of the parts, you get a better story and better enjoyment of the series as a whole. So I think video games and books do supplement each other. So the article is online at nytimes.com/books. Read the article, and I want to hear your opinions about it. What are your opinions about books compared to video games, or do they supplement each other? Do they take away? Can they connect together? Can they work together to create a better story? Tell me your opinions.